I'm Gail Robinson Butler, and I'd like to welcome you all to the very first Backstage Pass of the 2003 For Arts in Focus series. We're excited to have Eric Horner with us tonight. How many of you have heard Eric play before? I have a feeling a lot of you may have. Yeah? How many of you are friends or family of Eric? Well, welcome to our Fine Arts Center and to our campus. We appreciate you guys coming out and supporting us in this effort. I'd like to say, first of all, that this series is funded in part, a good part actually, by the Kentucky Arts Center grant to help us do innovative programming. So what we want to happen tonight is for you to feel comfortable in our theater, and maybe you'll come to some of the other things, and conveniently you have an Arts in Focus brochure located somewhere on your table, so take a look at it, and if you'd like to come to anything, there's a telephone number for you to call and make reservations. There's desserts and Starbucks coffee, hot spice cider, soft drinks and water, and some cold cider over to, let's see, to my left, so that would be stage left, that would be your right. And everything is $1. You can't beat that anywhere. And we have some really nice desserts and beverages over there, so please go over there, and there's some students and Norman Wergler, our music professor, to help you with that. Also, Eric's going to play straight through. So if you need to get up and move around and go to the restrooms, we want you to enjoy the backstage area. So we want you to use the dressing rooms tonight. To get to the men's dressing room, you go right around this curtain, past the table, and in the back door, in the stage door to the men's room. The women's room is on the other side and behind the blue grand drape, or the blue drape and the cyc. So that's to get you used to the backstage area, and that helps you feel a little more comfortable here in our theater. Eric Horner is a Lone Oak native, as many of you know. He most recently played in Paducah, I believe, at the Paducah Summer Festival. And he did a great job helping us to honor veterans at that event this past summer. He's going to be here tonight, and hopefully you're going to enjoy hearing a lot of Eric's own songwriting. He has over 400 original songs in his catalog, and tonight he's going to do some of his very favorite ones of those for you, including a couple that have had radio airtime, most recently his 9/11 tribute, and he'll tell you all about those. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Eric Horner to the stage.
Good evening. It's great to be here with you folks tonight. Good to come home and pick and sing a little bit. As we remember the anniversary of 9/11 this week, I'd like to start tonight with a tribute to America. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. For heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It is wonderful to be here with you folks tonight. And we got a lot of ground to cover this evening. As she said, I'm going to do... Whoops. You can stop that. Thank you very much. That's the next one. We got a lot of ground to cover tonight. I'm going to do some of my very favorites that I've ever written as a songwriter. Last fall, I decided to get back into ministry or gospel music full-time. And that's what I'm doing now. We're touring the country. As a matter of fact, we leave here tonight. And I don't get to stop driving until I get halfway to Fayetteville, North Carolina for a concert tomorrow night. So we're really covering some ground. And many of the songs you hear tonight will be some of my favorite gospel things that I've written in this past year. But I've also got some fun stuff I want to play for you. And we're definitely going to take some time to remember those souls we lost on 9/11/2001. But let's get on with a little bit of singing here. This is one of my favorite fun cuts off of our new gospel album. It's entitled Prayer Warrior. This is the title cut from it. Every day I hear folks talking about what they believe, how they trust in God with the faith of a mustard seed. They have no doubts until those stormy seas begin to roll. Then they act like they're about to drown and they're all but losing hope. But Jesus said you would receive if only you would ask. But if your walk is not your talk, then brother, you're sinking fast. 'Cause you can't use it until you prove it. You gotta let go and let God have full control. Really believe in everything you're preaching. If you wanna walk on water, you gotta step on out of the boat. Yeah. Well, Daniel knew in the lion's den that the Lord was on his side, for an angel came to keep him safe until the morning light. David slayed that giant with one stone because he knew all he had to do was aim and God would see it through. Well, faith can free you from your fears, but if you haven't guessed, even the most righteous man must put it to the test. 'Cause you can't use it until you prove it. You got to let go and let God have full control. Really believe in everything you're preaching. If you want to walk on water, you got to step on out of that boat. No, you can't use it until you prove it. You got to let go and let God have full control. I really believe in everything you're preaching. If you want to walk on water, you got to step on out of that boat. Yeah. free to step out of the boat. Well, I told little Fib, I said I looked at my list wrong. That's not the title cut. This is the title cut. It's something I think that this nation needs a lot more of right now. We're in some very trying and very perilous times. You know, we've been off to war, and we've been attacked here on our own soil, and a lot of forces are on us that would like to take us, and those can be defeated by a few more of these folks we call prayer warriors. There's never been a better time for Christian soldiers to unite and pray. The deceivers gaining ground and leaving broken homes and lives along the way. Well, you can see it in the evening news, the crime, the hate, the child abuse. This world has never known greater need than for those who will take up the fight and defeat the enemy upon their knees. Oh, the battle rages on like a fire out of control. Satan's waging war on every human soul. And as the army of the Lord, we must kneel and take our stand, for we know the final conflict is at hand. The best defense against the great destroyer is a prayer warrior. The holy power we receive when we're praying earnestly will be the reason we prevail, for in Jesus' name we have the victory. He is our rock, our sword and shield, but even on the battlefield we must bow and humbly seek His face. And those who do and never cease will be the mighty weapons of His grace. Oh, the battle rages on like a fire out of control. Satan's waging war on every human soul. And as the army of the Lord, we must kneel and take our stand, for we know the final conflict is at hand. The best defense against the great destroyer is a prayer warrior. A prayer warrior. A prayer warrior. Time to hit your knees and pray. Prayer warrior. Thank you. Speaking of prayer warriors, I got a couple of mine here. Well, I got several I see out here tonight. And I want to do for you a song that I wrote, I believe it was this last Christmas. And I wrote it for three very special prayer warriors. And that'd be my mom and my Aunt Letha. They came to see me tonight. My Aunt Ann couldn't be here. But I've covered about 1 million miles or so around this world, and I've always done it safely. And I firmly believe it's because I've had those folks praying over me for many, many years. And so this is a little song I wrote for them, and how their influence on my life sort of shaped me into the fellow I grew up to be. It's called Planting Seeds. Made so many memories as the years have flown on by, and everyone's a treasure I revisit in my mind. You've been my hand of guidance, an example strong and true. so much of what I am today is all because of you. You were planting seeds in the garden of my life. You gave me everything I'd need to grow up right. You taught me about Jesus, and now I'll live eternally. Oh, what you did for me by planting seeds. I've made mistakes along the way, and I've wandered in the dark, but the light of your love for me still shines within my heart. And I found my way back home again because you cared enough to pray. And the roots of my family tree grow deeper every day. You were planting seeds in the garden of my life. You gave me everything I need to grow up right. Taught me about Jesus, and now I'll live eternally. Oh, what you did for me by planting seeds. You taught me about Jesus, and now I'll live eternally. Oh, what you did for me by planting seeds. Thank you. Now I want to tell you about a few more seeds you got planted on my backside. I'm telling you what's truth. I see my third grade teacher made it here. We went out and visited her. Miss Wilson's here tonight. And I tell you, folks, it's a wonder her hair ain't totally gray after putting up with me. I was an ornery little cuss. And I learned some great lessons during my third grade year. And I wrote this little song about it. It's all about growing up. And this is a very true story. I will never forget it, and neither will my backside. I hope y'all like this. It's called Roots and Wings. Mama carried me to church when I was just a few weeks old. So I started hearing early the greatest story ever told. And while I was still a child, it became so clear to me, heaven's gates were open wide for those who just believe. Daddy carried me to school early on a Monday morning. The backside of my britches still feeling mighty warm. Well, I'm sorry to the teacher for the words I had to say, and that lesson in respect I still remember to this day. 'Cause they knew what they were doing way back then, planting seeds that would take root and give me wings in the end. They were giving me roots and wings, important things, the firmest foundation for whatever life brings. As I walk through this world, as I follow my dreams, everything that I am, I owe to roots and wings. I carried him to church Sunday a week ago. I sat down next to his grandma, center aisle, second row. Now it would be my turn, my responsibility, to instill in my own son the gifts my folks gave to me. 'Cause they knew what they were doing way back then, planting seeds that would take root and give me wings in the end. Giving him roots and wings, important things, the firmest foundation for whatever life brings. As he walks through this world, as he follows his dreams, everything that he'll be, he owed to roots and wings. Everything that we are, we owe to roots and wings. Thank y'all. I do appreciate you coming tonight. I really do. Well, I want to introduce y'all to somebody. Sweet Pea, are you in here? I see you back over. Stand up and say hi to these folks. This is my wife, Debbie. My definite better half. She keeps me where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be, and she's volunteered to drive all the way to Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I thought that's real sweet of her. She's going to let me sleep, if you believe that. She's got a whole album that's been written about her, and that's one thing that the Lord has blessed me with, is the ability to write songs for folks. And she is very, very good inspiration. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'd like to do a song right here that I wrote for her birthday last year. And it's The Gospel Truth. He never even noticed I was watching as you went through the motions of your morning routine. And as you brushed your hair back, I was wondering what I ever did to deserve the girl of my dreams. When I remember my life without you, I tremble at the thought of had we never met. 'Cause no one's ever loved me quite the way that you do. For the rest of my life, I will never forget that I'm a lucky man. I'm a lucky man. I'm not always the best at saying all the things that sometimes you need to hear. But I hope that you can feel the way I'm feeling. Emotions so strong they can move this man to tears. And every morning I wake up beside you. Humbly I pause to thank the Lord up above. And I pray that somehow I can measure up to the gift of your sweet, unconditional love. You see, I'm a lucky man. I'm a lucky man. On this earth, all we have is time. And I'll never understand why you share yours with mine. All I know is God must have had us planned. I'm a lucky man. I'm a lucky man. I'm a lucky man. Thank you. Actually, she didn't volunteer to drive. She said I could ride in the car with her if I'd sing that song. So we're in good shape now, I believe. You know, songwriting or writing in general kind of runs in my family. My mother is a wonderful poet, and she sort of passed along some of her gifts to me. But her father, my grandfather, was also a songwriter. And as he passed away in 1979, and I was handed down some of his old manuscripts, handwritten lyrics. What he would do, he would write lyrics and he'd send them off to Hollywood, and somebody'd write the melody lines and they'd go in and record it. And we saw, and we're looking through the papers, and we saw a little advertisement for, yes, you can send in 2 songs and get them recorded for 1995, way back when in the 50s. And he loved to write about love, and he also had a passion about writing about the Lord. And as we were flipping through and some of his stuff, we were getting ready to record this album, this Prayer Warrior album. I thought, man, it'd be really, really cool if I could have a co-write with my grandfather. So we dig through the papers, and we found a title and a song that he'd written called When Jesus Mentioned My Name. And lyrically, it was just fine, and it wasn't really something lyrically that really matched what I was all about. I wanted to take this and kind of make it my life story, which is what I did. I took the title and rewrote the song to sort of be my life story and testimony, and we're going to use a track for it because it's my brand new single. It just shipped this week, and you're going to be hearing it on the American Family Radio Network here, and you'll hear it on WKYQ on Sunday mornings on Topper's Show. And so just that's a brief history about the song. My grandfather was also an electrician, and he was a preacher disguised as an electrician, and he would preach on the job site, and was just one of the greatest fellows you'd ever meet. And I'd like to do this song. It's our co-write. It's called When Jesus Mentions My Name. I spent my whole life living on dreams and watching them crash to the ground. I just knew I could be the next biggest thing, but life just kept letting me down. I was praying for my will and my plans alone, determined for fortune and fame. I never considered what I had to lose if Jesus never mentioned my name. Well, it took hitting bottom to open my eyes and see what a fool I had been. 'Cause I turned my back on those things I was raised on, the Father, my family, and friends. So I went to the altar and I cried, Lord, forgive me. I care not for worldly acclaim. I just long to hear my child welcome home when Jesus mentions my name. And I'll shout hallelujah as I see his face, and humbly I'll bow at his feet and thank him for saving a man who was drowning in an ocean of sin and defeat. And I'll join my loved ones who've gone on before me as we all his glory proclaim. Oh, the sweetest sound I'll ever hear is when Jesus mentions my name. Now I've got a brand new reason for living. Because of his grace, I am changed. I'm living for him instead of for me. My future has been rearranged. And I've got a home he's prepared up in glory, a promise he made and I claim. And what beautiful music will fill my ears when Jesus mentions my name. And I'll shout hallelujah as I see his face, and humbly I'll bow at his feet and thank him for saving a man who was drowning in an ocean of sin and defeat. And I'll join my loved ones who've gone on before me as we all his glory proclaim. Oh, the sweetest sound I'll ever hear is when Jesus mentions my name. Oh, the sweetest sound I'll ever hear is when Jesus mentions my name. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. As Miss Gail told y'all, I'm just gonna play straight on through tonight. So I know they've got some goodies here. I saw some apple pie over there, and they got coffee and all kinds of stuff. So if you want something, you ain't gonna bother me, interrupt me at all. Go over there and help yourself, and be free to move around. We're gonna sing about America just a little bit more here. This would be the title cut off of our new Reborn Records patriotic album that we've got out, and just simply says "Freedom Rings." You can see it everywhere you look across this land. You can touch it when you reach out to your fellow man. You can hear it in their voices when the children sing, "Freedom rings." You can feel it deep within your heart like never before. Well, it's the pride in knowing that it's yours forevermore. And you can live it, for it's part of the American dream. Freedom rings. Well, it rolls across this country, resounding strong and true. Freedom rings its message, the proud red, white, and blue. It will soar through the ages on the strength of eagle's wings. Freedom rings. Freedom rings. Well, it unites us when we face any adversity. The core of our nation is our liberty, and we'll defend it, for without it we lose everything. Freedom rings. Well, it rolls across this country, resounding strong and true. Freedom rings its message, the proud red, white, and blue. It will soar through the ages on the strength of eagle's wings. Freedom rings. Freedom rings. Freedom rings. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do love singing about this great nation. I want to know, I know a few of you that I recognize, but how many veterans do we have here tonight? There's one there. A few. Well, we do, on behalf of a grateful community, a grateful nation, we thank you for your service. How about a hand for our vets? We like to take time wherever we go. We do probably 90% church work and concerts in churches, but they always allow us to have a moment to honor our country and especially those who paid the price for our freedom. And I would like to do that right now. I had the honor last September, and we're actually going back next week to do this again. Well, in a couple of weeks, to a Vietnam Wall in North Carolina. And they asked me to come. They'd heard our song, "We Will Stand," on the radio and a couple other things. And they asked me to come and sing. And as I left there, that was one of the most moving and important experiences that I've ever been through, because it did change me. And as I left there and we started the long drive back to Nashville from Thomasville, North Carolina, I felt the hair raise up on my arms and I got goosebumps. That usually means I'm about to get a song, and my wife knows to get out the laptop and get ready to type. And so as I remembered the deep respect that those soldiers had shown to their fallen brothers, this song just came to me in about half an hour. And we'd like to sing this song for anybody that's ever paid the ultimate price for our freedom. You knew what you had to do. Doubt never entered your mind. Duty called and you answered true. Your destiny was being defined when you paid the price for our liberty. Your actions were proof of what you believed. For no greater love could anyone give than to lay down their life so others might live. No greater compassion, mercy, or grace could you have shown when you took that place. You taught the world what heroes are made of, for there is no greater love. We will never forget, even though you are gone, in our hearts and our minds you will always live on. And may every man, woman, and child realize that today we are free because of your sacrifice. Oh, no greater love could anyone give than to lay down their life so others might live. No greater compassion, mercy, or grace could you have shown when you took that place. You taught the world what heroes are made of, for there is no greater love. There is no greater love. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, as I said, I'm going to cover all kinds of ground tonight. And I've got another love song. I was very privileged to write with a wonderful award-winning lyricist from Los Angeles. Her name is Pamela Phillips Olin. And I'm telling you what, folks, this girl can flat write some words. She is unbelievable. And I'd like to do you a love song that we collaborated on that simply talks about the faith that people have in each other. Heavens opened and rain poured down. The roads were flooded all over town. The world was painted in shades of gray. It was a hold somebody you love kind of day. We got talking like best friends do about all the hard times that we pulled through, and how whenever we're caught in a storm, we've got a fire in our hearts that keeps us warm. 'Cause we're islands of faith in an ocean of tears, blown about by winds of doubt when a dream disappears. We've seen material things come and go through the years, but our love stays safe, 'cause we're islands of faith in an ocean of tears. Sometimes I lead you, and sometimes I'm led. Sometimes we're torn between heart and head. We stay our course when the seas of life get rough, 'cause there ain't no courage like love. 'Cause we're islands of faith in an ocean of tears, blown about by winds of doubt when a dream disappears. We've seen material things come and go through the years, but our love stays safe, 'cause we're islands of faith in an ocean of tears. We're islands of faith in an ocean of tears. Thank you. I want to say hi to my friends here from Christian Supply House. You know, when you get out on the road, and I've been away from Paducah for many, many years, you tend to lose touch with people. And my good buddy here, Arnie, we go way back. We go way back. There's another fella from Paducah I know y'all know, Stephen Curtis Chapman, and we all used to run together. And me and Arnie Puckett and all these folks, they have a wonderful music store over on the south side called Christian Supply House and CHS Music. And we got reacquainted through a mutual friend here, and I'm actually in the middle of producing an album for a group called Born Twice that Arnie's daughter's in, Miss Kim, and they are a wonderful group of kids, and they're going to have a really good album if I don't erase it all. But it's been great to, you know, now that I'm back out on my own, I worked with a guy named Lee Greenwood, most of y'all know, for on and off for about 15 years. And, you know, you just lose touch with people, and it's been great now that I've been back out on my own to be able to be in Paducah a little more and get reacquainted with some old friends. And these guys have just gone out of their way to do things for me and help me so much that they've even actually become sort of a sponsor for our ministry and our tours as we go around the country. So if y'all need anything like that, y'all go see them. They have a wonderful store and a wonderful staff. They're some of the best folks that you'll ever meet. I want to tell you a little funny story here before I do this next song. As I introduced you to my wife a while ago, have y'all ever known, well, you know, in the South, we got a phrase, if somebody just does something that you just shake your head, you just say, bless your heart, you know. That's just sort of what we say down here. And my wife inspired the title of this song. Now, I got to be quick to tell you that it's not about her. It's not about her. But she inspired the title. Her and my Aunt Letha both did. And I get a lot of fuel from them for the fire, I'll tell you what. But I'm out on the road last year, and my cell phone rings. My wife's on the other end, and she's beside herself, mad as a wet hen. Now, I've heard of conniptions all my life. I've never seen one, but I believe I was about to see one. She was that mad. And the reason she was mad is I've got these two dogs, and they're just, I love them like my own children. They're Labrador Retrievers. The best little old dogs is a black one and a yellow one, and they are daddy's girls. I tell you, they stay right on my heels when I'm at home. And so we've got this computer desk where I sit when I'm at home, and that black lab stays on my heels pretty good, and she'll curl up and lay down behind the chair when I'm sitting at the computer. Well, she's on the other end of the phone so mad because that dog's done gone and ruined our carpet. And I said, well, slow down. What are you talking about? She said, there behind your computer chair, where you get on that computer and that dog lays there for hours on end, there's a big black spot, and I can't get it up. She said, I've used every chemical in the house. I've steam cleaned it. I've vacuumed. I've done everything I possibly can, and it will not come up. And I mean, she said, we're going to replace the carpet. About the time she said that, she bumped the overhead chandelier, and folks, lo and behold, that spot moved back and forth. So now we got to go to North Carolina, but we're going to be up here next week. If anybody's got a shadow you need cleaned, you give me your number, and I'll bring Sweet Pea on by. I'll get myself in a good doghouse for this long drive. But this is a song that, like I said, it ain't about her, but this is for anybody that you just go, well, bless your heart. Well, your boyfriend calls and says that he'll pick you up at 8. And long about 10:30, you think he's just a running late. So you decide to go to his house, but you don't get very far when you spot him with a red head and they're climbing in his car. So you pull up and in the back seat while they're cozy as can be, and you believe him when he says, now honey, we're just looking for my keys. Well, bless your heart, things ain't working out quite the way you planned. Bless your heart, what part of sucker do you not understand? Oh, if you ain't learned by now, you belong right where you are. If those shoes fit on you, then bless your heart. Well, your buddy calls and asks if he can bum a little cash so the bank won't come and haul away his '67 Nash. Well, it must be worth a fortune, though it smokes and overheats, 'cause it's the third time that they've threatened to repossess that car this week. So you call the bank to speak to someone on your friend's behalf, and you wonder why that banker can't do anything but laugh. Well, bless your heart, things ain't working out quite the way you planned. Bless your heart, what part of sucker do you not understand? Oh, if you ain't learned by now, you belong right where you are. If those shoes fit on you, then bless your heart. Well, the Easter bunny hides the eggs and Santa wears red clothes. The South is gonna rise again, things everybody knows. But if you believe that Ed McMahon will lay that million in your hand, and that psychic on the telephone line is really reading what's in your mind, well, bless your heart, things ain't working out quite the way you planned. Bless your heart, what part of sucker do you not understand? Oh, if you ain't learned by now, you belong right where you are. If those shoes fit on you, then bless your heart. If those shoes fit on you, then bless your heart. You're a good sport, Aunt Lisa. I'll say that for you out there. I could tell stories on you, so. So now that I've got myself good and in the doghouse, there's a brand new song that will actually go on my next gospel album for Reborn, and it was also a birthday present for my wife. And I've never written. I guess I've got probably a top 5 songs that I mean every cotton picking word of it, and this is one of them, and it's called He Sent Me You. I asked the Lord for healing of my wounded soul. He said, my child, rest easy, I am in control. I said, Lord, I've hit the bottom, what can you do? And He sent me you. I said, she's beautiful, what could she ever see in me? How could I deserve her love for all eternity? Just when I had given up, my every dream came true. He sent me you. I'm a better man since you walked into my life. Oh, there's nothing I can't do when you are by my side. God answers prayers. You are the living proof. He sent me you. With a grateful heart, I thank Him for you every day. And I ask Him to watch over you when I'm away. And I praise Him for the wonder my life turned into when He sent me you. I'm a better man since you walked into my life. Oh, there's nothing I can do without you by my side. God answers prayers. You are the living proof. He sent me you. He sent me you. Can I get back in the car now? You know, it's fun. Arnie was telling me a story the other day about his youngins. He's got two older kids, and he's got little man Kenneth here. But Kim and Justin, his kids, he was telling me about how much trouble they got into when they were in school all the time. They went up here to the Christian Fellowship in Bryansburg, and he was telling me that, you know, kind of like I did. I used to stay in trouble all the time, didn't I? But the principal got to call in the house, and they just tell Arnie or Robin, said, come get these kids. We can't do nothing with them. And this went on for a good part of a fall, and Arnie started to get a little tired of it. So he told Robin, he said, you know, the next time principal calls here, so we're going to bring them back home, and we're going to give them some of that treatment, so they're going to light that hind end up. And so sure enough, the phone rings. The principal says, come get these kids. He said, we can't do a thing with them. So here they go. Arnie's, he's kind of steam's coming out his ears, you know. And they get over to school, and on the way, Robin says, you know, Daddy, says maybe before we get the rod out for the child here, said maybe we can spare it one more time. Let's take them by and let them talk to the preacher. He said, well, all right, we ain't done that yet. So we'll take them, let them talk to the preacher. So they're going to pick them up, and they drop off Kim, and they carry Justin on home. And said, you get on in there. Said you can just walk to the house. Said you go in there and see what the preacher's got to say. So Kim went and sat down in front of the preacher, and he just kind of looked across the desk at her. And he said, young lady, he said, where is God? And Kim didn't quite know how to answer that. She just kind of sat there and looked at him and kind of irritated him a little bit. He said, young lady, I ask you, said, where is God? Still, she didn't say nothing. So finally, the preacher got a little hot under the collar, and he got right up on his desk, and he said, I ask you, where is God? Kim threw her hands up, screamed, ran out the door, ran all the way home, busted in the house, said, Justin, come here. God's missing. They think we've done it. Sorry I had to. You're right in the line of fire. Oh, me. Well, I've just finished up this last week a project that I have wanted to do for years and years and years. And finally got the opportunity to do it. We built a little recording studio in our home. And the gospel music is my first love, and I love to write it. But there's nothing that can top some of the great old standards. And we took some of them and kind of put my spin to them. And we have a brand new hymns album out. The title of it's called I Will Serve. And if y'all would let me, I'd like to do you a cut off of that right now. This is one of my very favorites, called The Old Rugged Cross. Far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross, where the dearest and best for a world of lost sinners was slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. To the old rugged cross I will ever be true. Its shame and reproach gladly bear. Then he'll call me someday to my home far away, where his glory forever I'll share. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. And exchange it someday for a crown. Thanks, I appreciate that. Well, we've been real fortunate to make a lot of noise in the newspapers around here lately. We've had a lot going on, and we've been involved with some folks over in West Virginia that I know you've heard about, Miss Jessica Lynch, and our phone's been ringing off the hook, or it started ringing off the hook the day she came home, because we were invited to come be a part of her homecoming. And the day she came home, we were scheduled to be here in Paducah the very next day for the Riverfront concert that we did here, a patriotic concert. And that's not exactly what we were invited to do anyway. They're going to have a big old shindig for Miss Lynch, probably in the spring when she's healed up. Her injuries were very severe. And so we're going to go back and sing for those folks. But we did go about 7 days after she came home. We were invited to come sing at their fair in her hometown. And, you know, we didn't know if we were going to get to see her or not, because she was in a wheelchair, and like I said, the injuries were pretty severe, and she hadn't been getting out. So we had just honored our veterans and sung a song for them, and lo and behold, in the last chorus of that song that we were singing for the vets, I look up, and here comes her wheelchair pushing up, her parents pushing her up to the pavilion where we were singing. And, man, I got covered with goosebumps. That was such a cool thing to see. And the next song in line was a song that I wrote before the war actually even started, before anybody knew who Jessica Lynch was. You know, there's a group of soldiers that get overlooked so often, and that's the women who serve. And, you know, there are women who are heroes in everyday life. There are those in the song we talk about, of course, those who serve in the military. We also talk about those who serve in the Red Cross, in the space program. And, I mean, the list could go on, but we only had about 3 minutes in which to write the song. But we also included teachers in that group of folks, because I assure you they're shaping the future of our nation, and they are sure enough heroes, without a shadow of a doubt. So I would like to do for you a song, and we have a video presentation for these next 2 songs, and it'll show above my head here, and so I want to draw your attention to that. And this song is called She's a Hero and a Woman Too, and it's been adopted in different pockets across the nation for Jessica Lynch, and especially in the state of West Virginia. And some friends of ours in her hometown actually put this video together for us. They were there when she came home and shot footage of the helicopter as it brought her in and all the festivities. So if you'd go ahead and start that. This is called She's a Hero and a Woman Too.
Army's 507 maintenance unit was ambushed inside Iraq. The Lynch family was notified Jessica was missing in action late the same night.
You see that lady over there? Well, she could be from anywhere, and you'd never know by looking in her eyes that she is full of inner strength, and she would go to any length to help someone in need or save a life. It's simply how she chose to live, a gift of love she freely gives, to stand for those who cannot stand alone. And faithfully she's planted seeds with actions and courageous deeds. And now it's time she reaps what she has sown. She is a hero, strong and true, a shining example of the red, white, and blue, a daughter of freedom, a patriot through and through. She is a hero and a woman too. She's somewhere in the world tonight, defending us with all her might. She knows what it means to sacrifice. She's the one who soars among the stars to bring back knowledge from afar, all for the improvement of our lives. She wears a red cross on her sleeve and proudly serves, for she believes that she can make a difference to one's soul. And she's the one who's born to teach the many children she will reach, giving them the roots they need to grow. She is a hero, strong and true, a shining example of the red, white, and blue, a daughter of freedom, a patriot through and through. She is a hero and a woman too. She is a hero and a woman too.
Of stories that said when I was captured, I said, I'm an American soldier too. Those stories were right. Those were my words. I am an American soldier too.
How about a hand for our women heroes? Thank you very much. I've got one more song that I'd like to do for you, and it's probably the song that I'm best known for. But I'd like to tell you the story where the song came from. This week we will remember and there'll be many functions and many programs in honor of those we lost on 9/11/2001 in New York, Washington D.C., and Flight 93 over Pennsylvania. As we sat, my wife and I, as we sat and watched the stuff unfold on TV, you know, we were just as shocked as any one of you were. But it seemed to hit her just a little bit harder than it did a lot of people. And I'm going to roll back the clock for you, back to 1983, October the 23rd. A terrorist with a truckload of explosives drove into our Marines compound in Beirut, Lebanon, drove it straight into the middle of the building, and detonated it. We lost 241 sailors and Marines that day. And my wife's first husband was one of those Marines we lost. And as she watched everything unfold on TV, she actually went to the computer and pulled up pictures from the internet of the bomb blast scene from Beirut in '83. And it just, the destruction, it just all looked the same. And so you can imagine the things that she relived that day. And as the day wore on, I had people start calling me. They said, you write a lot of songs from the heart. He said, you know, folks would say, you got to write about this. You got to say something about this in a song. And I just said, no, every songwriter in the world's going to be doing that, and it's not for me to do. And as I continued to observe her, though, and the pain she was feeling and the things she was reliving, a phrase started running through my head that you know, no matter what our enemies do to us, we will stand. And this little phrase, we will stand, just wouldn't leave me alone, but I was determined not to write it. And went to bed that night, couldn't sleep. The goosebumps got up on my arms again. I thought, oh, here comes a song. So I went back down to my little recording studio and between midnight and 3 a.m. penned the words to a song called We Will Stand. I went and slept on it a little bit, got back up at 6. It still wouldn't leave me alone. And I did a little guitar vocal demo of the song. And about 8 o'clock, she came walking downstairs, and I said, here, I've got something that I want you to hear. And I had simply written this song for her, just as a tool of healing for her. And she listened and was very moved by the song. She said, you know what? She said, the world needs to hear this song. And I said, well, how in the world are we going to let them hear it? It's just you and I here in the house. And so she took the song, just the guitar vocal demo, took a CD over to WSM Radio in Nashville. And that's the station. It's an AM station, a clear channel station, and their signal shoots all across the nation. And they got all excited about the song, and they went on it within 2 days. And folks, within 2 weeks, this song was playing on every reporting country radio station in the nation. And all we did was we simply put it on the internet, made it available for download, and they came to us and got it. It was amazing how word spread about this song. And so I'm very proud to say that what started out to be a tool of healing for her was used as a tool of healing for our nation. And I'm sure it'll be played a lot again this week. Those of you who have internet capability, on the 11th, I will be in Tupelo, Mississippi with the American Family Radio Network. I know they have a station here that they just bought, but I don't think they're all online yet with the simulcast broadcasting. But you can go to my website. Just go to www.erichorner.com. Click on there's a thing that says events schedule. And there's a link there to American Family Radio on the internet. You can go click and listen to us because we're going to be on all day discussing patriotism, and we're going to be after 9/11. We did a lot of work with this song. I was still working with Mr. Greenwood, and he allowed me to perform the song in his show. I pitched it to him. I thought, well, gosh, God bless the USA. Maybe he'll want something else, now that this has happened. He said, absolutely not. He said, you sing this song in my show. And so we sold CDs of this for an entire year. After 9/11 until the 1-year anniversary, he allowed me to do that. There aren't many celebrities that would put their star aside and allow you to step up and do something like this. And he is a truly great fellow and a truly great American. And we raised several thousands of dollars just from selling CD singles, and we eventually built a whole album around this song. And we benefited a group called the Staten Island Victims Relief Fund in New York. And because everybody started out, Red Cross and this fund and that fund, and we wanted to be sure that the money got out just right where it was needed and quickly. And these folks were they'd get the money in and turn it around, because Staten Island was one of the hardest hit places in New York as far as the actual loss of life and loss of firefighters. So it was a real privilege and an honor to be a part of that. So I would like to close tonight with this song as we remember those who perished on 9/11, and we would let this be a message to anybody who would dare try to take down the United States of America by an act of terrorism or by war or any type of attack. This is We Will Stand. We live in the land of the free, a nation united by our common belief that we're all created equal, every child, woman, and man. And we have the right to live our dreams the way our forefathers planned. There are those who vow to take it all away, to change our way of life and make us fear each coming day. But America is stronger than the acts of evil men, and we will overcome them. No, they must never win. We may bend, but we won't break. We live and die for freedom's sake. Our liberty was won by our own hands. We will not fail, we will not fall, we will stand. So let us pray for wisdom from above, that we may be victorious as we defend all that we love. We may bend, but we won't break. We live and die for freedom's sake. Our liberty was won by our own hands. We will not fail, we will not fall, we will stand. We will not fail, we will not fall, we will stand. We will stand. We will stand. We will stand. Thank y'all for coming. God bless you. Good night.